I think that's one of the most important things about our love, our Black love. And I think that the fact that when the world beats me up or society hurts me or somebody leaves a comment that disturbs me, it's good to be able to come home to a safe space within you and to just be me, to not be something other than myself. Even when I feel like a failure, you don't see me as one. So I think that's the healing part of Black love.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Carlene plus Jamie, the place where we talk all things relationship, culture, and connection.
And we're your hosts, Jamie and Carlene, like the title of the show. And on this episode, we have a topic that is personal, that is deep, that is revolutionary, and we are continuing talking about Black love, sacred and seen. And so I'm truly excited about this topic. How about you, Carlene?
I am super excited about this topic because guess what, Jamie? This topic is not just a regular kind of topic. I think to your point where you just talked about it being revolutionary because it's talking about Black love.
That's right. Black love, just thinking back to how Black love was illegal, right? And to now where we are, where Black love is celebrated everywhere and to everyone. It's love in the face of systems that were there to oppress us. It's love in the face of a society that creates a narrative about Black people, but yet the chords of love still remain strong. And it's also love in the midst of social media algorithms. And so I'm excited about the sacredness and just the way that we affirm each other in this world where we are constantly bombarded with stereotypes and negative things, that we still find a way to make it through all the mess.
Very true. I think especially when we are faced in the kind of society environment that we're currently in, where we have a system. The system has always been there. Let's not act like if the system has just been created.
Right.
We know that the system has always been there. It just feels as though in our generation, in our era, that the system is. It's almost like they are not hiding behind policies. They're almost like very blatant in what it is, the narratives that they want to say about Black people.
Right.
Black and brown people.
Yeah, the narratives they want to say, and then also the narratives that they don't want to say, or the narratives that they're trying to erase, right? Like the whole thing that we started out talking about is how it was illegal for Blacks to get married, right? It was illegal, for us to do certain things. And then also knowing that part of our story is the fact that the Black father and the Black mother were separated from each other. The children were, tossed out and left with no regard. And so that all those stories, all those stories they're trying to erase, but yet we still find a way to triumph. We still find a way to be victorious, and we still find a way to remain connected.
Like one of the...
Uh-oh, you got it too.
Whatever it is. Excuse me. I think that one of the things about Black love that when we were talking about this topic to our audience, I thought about the essence of Black love. And as I was thinking through the essence of Black love, like all I heard was like drums in the background and like those things. What are those things that's lit that you like them to make your house smell good.
Incense.
Like I had like I imagined incense, and I imagined, like, I don't know, bold and beautiful and defying. You know, those are like the thoughts and the feelings and the things that I smelled. Like all of my senses tapped into when I thought about Black love. I don't think Black love. I don't think Black. I think Black love sometimes get. There's a negative connotation that comes with Black love, right? It seems as though Black love is broken, right? Black love is not for forever, right? Like it's not something that is built strong. It seems as though like it's weak. It seems as though it's in constant there's constant conflict or a fight to keep it together versus our counterparts where that narrative isn't quite there, is not the same thing. So when I think about Black love, I just feel all the things that's positive, and I feel like Black love is sexy, Black love is bold, Black love is vivacious, Black love is just, you know, it's this quote that I actually wanted to share. It says, Black love is a kind of love that says, I see your struggle, I know your soul, and I still choose to love you loudly. Like that for me is Black love. Like I just, is the essence of it that just makes me feel like amazing.
All right. Well,
I'm
friends,
sorry.
that's the end of our episode, and you now know what Black love is. Go therefore and share it with others. No, I think to your point that anything that I feel like the word Black is attached to, it's negative.
Yeah.
And not only is it negative, it also gets a lot of scrutiny, right? So it's almost like, what is Black love? Why they gotta have Black love? Why can't there be
Just
white
love.
love, right? Like, why is it gotta be Black love? But I think that it has to be defined
Yeah.
and labeled as
Yes.
Black love because of the history
Yes.
of us in this country, us in this media driven
Yes.
society that creates narratives. And I think that's what social media is allowing us to do.
Yes.
And it's taking our story and it's putting it out there and showing our strength, but then also too, not letting the algorithms define what Black love is.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I love the fact that unfortunately we don't see maybe now a little bit more, but before, like we never used to really see thriving Black love, right? Black love always had drama to it, right? Where the baby mama drama or the or this narrative of there's always screaming, it's unhealthy. Let's just say it. Black love, that stereotype has been out there for years that it's unhealthy, and that is far from the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love our Black love, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that our Black love is one that is full of peaks and valleys, one that's full of ups and downs, ins and outs, but there's laughter and there's joy. And that we've always find a way to make our way back to each other, right?
Yes.
Even when we have a hiccup, even when we don't agree, even when we feel like, yo, I'm just not feeling you right now, that I think our Black love always finds a way to come back to our why, come back to why we said that we want to get married, our covenant and our agreement. So I just love how our Black love works in the midst of everything that we see and don't see out in the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. I feel like Black love matters. Well, let's first say, do we believe that Black love matters?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In these times, in these days, Black love matters. For me personally, to see it because it's not often celebrated. It's even though it's not often, it's something I feel like it's not often celebrated. I think it's something we take for granted. But I think the negative parts of Black love always goes viral or always gets seen or always get heard. So yes, Black love definitely matters.
Yeah, and I think it matters so much because I think it says that we are all worthy of healthy relationships, right? I am worthy of having a healthy relationship. Like I don't have to pattern after what the narratives show me, say to me, teach me about love or Black love, but I'm worthy of that love. I'm worthy of Black love. And I think it's a great example to our children, to our nieces, to our nephews, to the generations that are coming behind us, for them to be able to see the beauty, the worthiness that they too deserve happy, healthy relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we have to do our job to rewrite the narrative and write our story. And one of the things that's so beautiful about Black love is that we all get to be authors in this one large book, right? We all get a different chapter, and that our chapter may be different from the previous chapter or another couple's chapter. But I think at the end of the day is that once our chapters end with stories that provide meaning, stories that provide depth, stories that provide understanding and how to, because that's what we're doing for our kids, because we're pretty much learning from what we've seen growing up or what we haven't seen growing up. So yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm mirroring to my daughters, when I love you is how I want whomever they marry to love them and to respect them.
Yeah, let's stay there for a little bit. I think that is so important, for you to be able to voice that. To voice that, it is very important for you to understand that your job as my husband and as their father is to mirror, is to model, not a perfect husband or a perfect father, but perfect for us, right? In the sense where we love you in spite of, the faults. You love me in spite of my faults. But I think the big idea is not the idea, the beauty is that you want to model what it is that you want our daughters to look for in a husband. You want what you're modeling, how it is that you want them, or the expectation of how they should be treated by a man. Right? That if a man comes to them and is talking all sorts of crap, that they're not going to sit there and take that crap, but they're going to be like, wait a minute, my daddy used to do this. And I know that it's possible, right? I know that there is, I saw it modeled growing up. So I know that there is hope. I know that that is something that's tangible that can be done. So now you've set the standard. And I think that's just so important, not only as a father, but as a Black father, where that is not necessarily something that's modeled always, for little girls.
Yeah, and not only that, to kick it back to you, it's also you showing them how to be loved, right?
Yes.
And how to speak up and how to voice your opinion and how to be your own self, not just be my wife. You have a name, you have goals, you have various accomplishments that you've had in your life. So I think it's good for them to see through our marriage, through our love, that a Black woman being affirmed, a Black woman being loved, on her best days, on her worst days, the same way. So I think both of us have an important job, a vital job to do. And there's a reason why, like you said, like I dress the way I dress, not just because I like to dress like that, but I also would like my daughters, when they date somebody, that whomever they date looks respectable, right? But it's also too, there's no blueprint for children.
No, there
They might
isn't.
just go out there and get the opposite.
Wish there were. Yeah,
Right.
sometimes that happens.
And then I just gotta shine my gun in front of them.
Oh
It's
gosh.
just like that. So
Oh dear.
one or the other. But I think yes, for sure. I think like it's important for us to always, and I think there's a part that says that Black love is a sacred place or a place of healing. And I think that's one of the most important things about our love, our Black love. And I think that the fact that when the world beats me up or society hurts me or somebody leaves a comment that disturbs me, it's good to be able to come home to a safe space within you and to just be me, to not be something other than myself, even when I feel like a failure, you don't see me as one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the healing part
Yes.
of Black love, right? The
Yes.
sacredness.
Yes. I love that. Black love heals.
Mm-hmm.
It heals. I think love heals for sure. But
Yeah.
there's just something different about Black love when, in the face of people telling you that you're not good enough, in the face of people making you feel as though you're not good enough, or society is blatantly trying to erase history, your history, our history, from the history books, from the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we heal each other in this space, this sacred space of our Black love, where we remind each other of who we are and whose we are.
Yeah.
Right. I think the healing part, going back to the healing part that you were just talking about, I think it's so amazing that Black love does heal. Because I think about being a girl who grew up without a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
My father is alive, but I didn't grow up with him in the home,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how you show up in ways that for our girls that I could never, that I wish was my dad showed up for me in that same way,
Mm-hmm.
and how through me looking at how you're treating our girls heals parts of the brokenness of wishing that I had a dad that did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to talking about the healing, how Black love heals, I truly believe that is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. And like to your point, the fact that it can heal even though we have emotional scars. Like we come into it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us, I think that, at least let me not speak for a lot of us, let me speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any therapy or I didn't do any kind of healing before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
Like the healing process within our marriage is a day by day, step by step process,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so understanding and just knowing that through even whatever trauma or whatever issues or whatever reservations you had about marriage
Mm-hmm.
and love and not it being mirrored in a positive way, that you can still be in a relationship with somebody and you can still find healing. Like you don't have to bring the curses
Yes.
from past generations
Yes.
into the new union that you're trying
Yes.
to create.
Yes. And I think that's the beauty of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like giving birth to a newborn baby,
Mm. Yeah.
where that newborn baby comes into this world. I don't want to say without blemish, because we were all shaped and formed in iniquity.
Right.
Iniquity, sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me. And so I think about like this blank slate that this new baby comes into this world with, not having any necessarily no past thoughts, there's no schema, essentially, that this child comes in that they can verbalize, and it's you know what I mean, like it's this new formed baby, and whatever you felt wasn't done or was done for you and your upbringing, you really try to rear this child in the same way. And I feel it's the same thing with marriage. It's almost like those generational things, those curses, right, that transpired in our childhood and in our families, generations or whatever, in our lineage, that we're able to rebuke those curses and try to break those generational curses, and to create something new, create something sacred, create something safe,
Yeah.
right? So that the children that we are bringing into this new space, that they too can feel the effects of those curses, those generational curses broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I love that illustration about the baby, because like a baby, it has to be nourished.
Yes.
It has to be fed.
Mhm.
It has to be loved.
Yes.
Right. You have to give it attention,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be intentional about it if you want it to grow.
Yeah.
And so like your point to, Black love and needing all of that nurturing, nurturing your love, loving your love, right?
Yes.
And being proud of it and happy of it. And that, like a child, it's going to fall sometimes and bruise and hurt, but you still love that child, right? And so you got to love who you're with. You got to love yourself, love us. I think that's the beauty of Black love. But I wanted to also interject, that sacredness part of why Black love is so sacred is because there's a power that I think we share, that couples share with each other, that makes them better. Because if there wasn't a power in Black love, then why would people do so much to try to destroy
it? Yeah.
Right? Like, why would the slave master do so much to separate the family and to break it up? Because there's strength. There's spiritual strength, there's physical strength in that union. And I think that part needs to be constantly reminded, constantly on your feed, constantly on your algorithm, because it's easy to forget that.
True.
It's easy to forget our stories. And I think that sacredness needs to be held when getting married, right? Like when understanding that I am embarking in a covenant relationship, in a sacred relationship, in a powerful relationship with another human being that shares my struggle. And that how do we come together to be stronger for each other and for generations to come. And so that's why when I do weddings, I always throw that little Black history in there.
Absolutely.
Because I don't take it lightly, right? Like jumping over the broom was significant. Black love, Black marriage was significant, particularly in a world that didn't want to see us get married.
Didn't want to see us together.
Right. Have children. Right. And then if we had children, they were looking at our children to exploit them to pick cotton.
Correct.
And so now that we have advanced in our society, and even though we still got ways to go, I'm grateful that we have examples of Black love that are strong, that are resilient, that are doing just the doggone thing. And it's proud to see.
Yeah, Black love winning. Black love winning. It's good to see. And I think a lot of times, I think I said this before, that we know that kind of relationship, the beauty in the Black love relationship exists. Unfortunately, we don't see it often. It's not that it's rare. We just don't see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Black love. So I think Black love, they're different. I think is a spectrum, right? Black love can go from being super quiet, super humble, super, quiet and kind of very on the low, right?
Yeah, under the radar.
To it can peak all the way to very flashy, very big and extravagant, right? Because I think, Black people, some of us are just so passionate, right? And sometimes that passion shows itself in different ways, right?
Right.
And I think that that's why I think last week with our episode last week, we didn't try to hate on those people that were showing love in extravagant ways. It's just that it's okay too, but it's also okay to show the other parts of love, the other parts of relationship goals.
Yeah.
That creates that balance where it's not always has to be flashy and shiny, but it can be very quiet and very under the radar.
Yeah, yeah. And I think all of those examples that we see online are all various variations of Black love, right? So you have, and I think that's what's the beauty of Black people, is that we're not monolithic. We're different. We have different styles, but in our relationships, some are, toxic, some are great, some are lavish, some are all different sorts of things. I think for me, what I would like to see is that at the end of the day, that there is still that connection, that bond, right? So you got a toxic relationship. Help me to see how you're dealing with that toxicity, right? Not using that toxicity to get clicks, to go viral, and for the wrong things, but how are y'all working through whatever toxic situation it may be? And even with the other side, with the couple that's doing great, that's wonderful, that's showing, Black love at its best. Help me understand how that works, how that Black love gets to working at its best. And I think what happens is that sometimes on social media, we just get just 90 seconds and we get 30 seconds of it. And maybe it's not enough for a whole, dissertation. But I think for me, at the end of the day, I just want to know stories of how we made it over, like how we make it through.
Yeah, yeah. And to your point, I think it is sometimes it may be a little bit difficult to express that or to show that in overt ways because it's not popular, right? It's not. Maybe in their spaces, in those smaller spaces, you may find what it is that you're asking for, but maybe in that social media space, I don't know if you'll find that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you know what else I'm thinking too? I think it's important for us, and especially with our podcast. And one thing that I think that's vital is that we don't tear down other couples.
Correct.
I think it's I don't like to see when Black folk tear down other Black folk in public spaces. I prefer like, hey, a DM or a message like that. And I think that's another part of Black love that I think should be emphasized is that Black love doesn't tear down other love.
Yeah.
Black love shouldn't be jealous of other people's love.
Black love shouldn't compare.
Black love should be celebrating it, whichever way, however way it comes, and protect it, right? If somebody's coming in, like for example, our friends that are married, if somebody comes to me and tells me like, yo, I be seeing how he be looking at other women. I don't think they really like each other. I'll be like, nah, cut that noise. We're not gonna have that conversation because that's inappropriate. That's me almost endorsing somebody else tearing down Black love. So I think it's important for us to not just protect our love, but protect other Black love as well too, and not tear others down, but to celebrate them.
I agree.
My opinion.
All right, and that's on that.
That's that.
So we're gonna shift a little bit to kind of the second part of our topic, the seen part.
That was we just did the sacred.
We did the sacred, how important it is, how important Black love is sacred, or not how important, but how Black love is sacred. So now we're going to talk a little bit about being seen as a Black couple. I think one of the things that we wrote down here is that because that's one of the biggest needs in all relationships, to be seen and to be loved. I think for Black couples, the validation, right, to be seen is even more critical because we don't always get it from the outside world. As to your point, kind of beat up on the out. Sometimes we can go through a thrashing outside in the outside world, but sometimes we can feel invisible because of the beating that we get outside these four walls. So when you come into these four walls, when you come in after a day's work, it's so important for your spouse to feel seen.
Yeah.
And I think it goes deep. It reaches a little bit deeper for us because, again, in a society where they're literally trying to erase, they're literally trying to deport, they're literally trying to, almost do a purging of sorts. If your skin is a particular color, how important it is for us to make sure that when we come in from work, how important it is to be seen by our spouse.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. And I could just speak for myself as a Black man. And even if, we face microaggressions all the time, and different sorts and levels of racism, and sometimes even not facing racism, just feeling not seen. And I think one of the things that you do consistently is that you always ask me, am I okay? You always ask me, am I okay? And I always answer, I'm good. I'm all right. You know, because sometimes it's not just something that happens in the day. Sometimes it's just a buildup of different things. But when you ask me that if I'm okay, it is a reminder that you are seeing me. You know, like if you never asked me, are you okay? If you just kept on going what you're doing, that means everything's fine. But that when I know that you're asking me, am I okay? I know that you are observing me. You're observing my mannerisms. You're observing how I'm sitting. You're observing my face. And to know that you see me means a lot. And then not only that, to be affirmed, right? Because we live in a world where we may not always be affirmed. We live in a society where it almost feels like you always got to look perfect. Your teeth have to be white. Your teeth have to be straight. You can't have an eyelash or anything out of the way, right? And so those things with the comparison can make you feel less than. But to know that you have a spouse that can affirm you and tell you you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are amazing is wonderful as well. And those are things I think that really matter in marriages, to be heard and to be seen and to be valued. Because God forbid, you out there slaving and getting beat up, and then to come home to that.
Yeah, to come home to being beat up, to be slaving, like outside and inside look the same. Yeah,
Right.
that's rough.
Right. And so I think, like, you know, that part about being seen is important because we could get distracted very easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially when kids come into the picture too.
For sure.
I know we've had our challenges with us not seeing each other because we had kids and we were just so focused on taking care of them that we almost forgot about taking care of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is important to observe your spouse. It's important to also read between the lines. Their mannerisms, I know for you, let me speak personally, like for Jamie, I could for the most part, I'm usually spot on. He may deny it, but I'm usually spot on when it comes to recognizing that something's a little off with him. It's kind of like maybe how he's responding to me, or maybe it's how he hangs his shoulders, or how he walks around the house kind of is a clear indication that something is not right. And so I could do two things. I could ignore it and act like I don't see it and be like, he be all right. You know, he must be going through something, or he's in a funk or whatever. Or I can go ahead and ask him, you good? And to his point, what he just said, like Jamie will legit sit there and be like, I'm good. No, I'm good. Or his fame, he'll no longer say, I'm good. He'll say, I'm just tired. And I'm like, bruh, you always tired. But tired for Jamie, from what I've observed, tired is almost like a secret code for I'm not all right.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm processing, and it's making me tired.
Yes. And so two things. I could sit there and continue to press that button to say, you're not okay. You're not okay. I could tell. Or I just be like, okay, you tired? Okay. And then I'll just walk away and leave him alone. And then maybe the next day or maybe a few hours later, I'll come back and be like, you sure? And usually at bedtime is when I'll be like, what's good? Like, really, like, go ahead, spill the beans. Let me know what's going on so I can go ahead and help you. But I think it's so important to be able to identify that for your spouse, because you understand that you're connected to this person in a deep way. And if they're off, parts of you are also off, right? The vibe and the and just the whole feel that you both have together, that energy, that synergy is kind of like, it's not broken, but there's just a little bit of static that's happening in the dynamic, in the relationship. And so I think it's so important for you to be able to see your partner even when they say they're okay. It's okay. It's so important to see them when they say they're okay.
Yeah, and I think to your to what you were saying, that to be okay with not getting an answer immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's important too, is that not to catch an attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ask me how you doing, I say, oh, I'm okay. I know you're not okay, and to get that, because sometimes a brother just needs to just go through,
Mm-hmm.
and when he's ready, he's gonna talk. And so I think that's also good too, because that will cause strife, right? It's like, my problem or my issue or your issue or whatever may not even be with you, it's something else. But then when you turn it and make it about you, then it becomes something worse than it already was. And I think those are the tools in Black love that we learn as the longer we stay together,
Mm-hmm.
the longer that we fight through the mess together,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to learn each other, so that we just clicking.
Right.
It's back and forth. But, you know, the point about being seen also, and which brings us to kind of like what we've been talking about the last few episodes, is that not only being seen in the home, but how are we being seen that trickles over into social media too,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, you know, the picture that we represent, so sometimes the picture that we represent on the internet
Mm-hmm.
may not always be the picture that's the full picture that's represented in the marriage. Or it can be this: that's a picture and the marriage is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's continually going.
Mhm.
That's just a snapshot.
Right.
And the marriage is a movie. So, you know, I'm interested in about like your thoughts on being seen on social media. And how does that look, or what are your thoughts in that regard?
How each other are seen on social media.
Yeah. For example, like, you know, our pictures or pictures on social media, should pictures on social media always paint us in the best light? Or should we have pictures on social media that also paint us not in a terrible light, but in a real light in some ways? Like, you know, you always want to post the pictures that look good. We smiling, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But is there space to create pictures that's not always like that, that catches the downside,
Mm-hmm.
the real side, the unfiltered side of marriage?
Yeah, I don't. I think the social media has trained us to post pictures that are perfect, or as perfect as they can possibly be, right? And so, if a picture of you and your spouse looks a little off, right? You understand that that picture is going to probably have 50 million people doing close-ups to kind of see what is happening in the picture, to read, like people are reading beyond the picture, like they're going beyond the picture.
Right.
And sometimes it depends on what platform it is that you want to stand on. Do you want to stand on the platform of I want to post a perfect picture, but my caption shows the mess, right? Or I want to show a picture that is not photoshopped, but a caption that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like this part of the scene part goes a little bit deeper in terms of like, how do you want your spouse to be seen on social media, right? How do you want me to show up in social media? Or how do you want to show up on social media? Like when I take a picture of you, or you take a picture of me, how are through your eyes, how are people seeing me through your eyes?
Right.
Right? Are you posting pictures that are flattering? Are you posting any pictures of me?
Right.
Are you, in your posts, do you have a caption that is endearing, or do you have a caption that is, I don't know, trashing me in some way? I don't know, or there's shade or something like that. I don't know. But I do agree with you in terms of like being seen can definitely look differently for different people.
Right. Right.
For us, the very last still picture or carousel picture that we have of us, I realized our picture looks cool, right? We're kind of like chilling in our clothes, in our clothes, but we're kind of chilling. But then I look a little bit closer at the picture, and there's like a hammer on the ground,
Right.
right? The whole picture is not perfect. Perfect would be where we kind of stage the place and it just looks like everything is correctly in its place.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that isn't the case in the picture that we just posted recently, because it definitely shows the imperfections in our life where I'm not necessarily critical about everything being perfect. I'm more concerned about like we're showing up in this space together. We're taking a picture together, which is something I enjoy.
Right. And I think to your point, I think what keeps us going is the fact that whenever there's a picture being posted,
Mm-hmm.
you would always ask,
Yes.
or you would always tell them, or I would make sure I ask,
Mm-hmm.
is this picture okay to be posted?
Yeah.
And give you the opportunity to
Yeah.
show how you want to be seen.
Yes.
Rather than just putting it up there.
Yes.
Because you may say, I don't like the way I smile in it, or I don't like the way I look. So I think that's important too when it talks about like being seen.
Yes.
Also means asking for permission.
Yes. I'm so happy you brought that up, because you already know, for me, sometimes how you see me is not necessarily how I see me.
Right.
And so because there's some sort of like a, I don't know, like a,
It could be the glasses aren't up too much. It
no,
could be
but I'm just saying, like, there's just some sort of a discrepancy. There's something that's off
right
in the picture that I see that you don't see. You just see me. You'll be like, oh my gosh, you look beautiful, like all the things. And I'm just like, what do? I scroll, not scroll.
Yeah.
I enlarge it a little bit, zoom in, and then I'm just like, like there was a picture that I took, and I was like, I don't want to post that picture. I was like, something looks off with it, right? And you're like, it's beautiful. Please post the picture. I haven't posted it as yet. That's for another story. That's another day for another story. But it's so interesting that you brought that up, because it's so true.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think it's important for you to do that, because you're going to post a picture and I'll be like, I don't like it. Take it down. And people are going to be like, why you took down that picture? Is something wrong? You know what I mean? Like people jump to conclusions or whatever.
Right. I think it's a form of respect. I think also too, it's also how I want you to be seen in the world. So we have a rule. I guess I don't think it's even a spoken rule. It's just an unspoken rule that we won't post each other in compromising positions or compromising outfits or anything that will give license to people to look at you in a certain way. And I think that's protecting our Black love. It's how we're seen in public on social media.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. Because I think that's so important. Yeah, because that is a no. When, yeah, and I think the other part of it too. I remember when we went on vacation, and I had, of course, I'm wearing bathing suits or whatnot, and I posted a picture with my bathing suit on. Of course, I think it was tactful, nothing crazy. But I asked you, I was like, yo, how do you feel about me posting this picture? And you were like, post a picture.
Right.
Right. Which gives me confidence too, to be like, okay, if my husband, I trust him and I trust his ability to know what is good and what isn't. And just being able to just trust and lean into that you're not going to have me out here looking like, I don't know what, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was kind of rough, because you was looking fine AF, like a whole meal, and I had to grapple with myself and say, but this is beauty, and it can be shared. It's not like it wasn't scandalous, it wasn't raunchy. It's just a Black woman like yourself who is very nice curves and hips, and why
Okay,
hide that, right? Why
Mhm.
hide that? And so I didn't at first I wanted to be like, no, you can't post that because I don't want nobody seeing that. But then at the end of the day, I'm proud of my wife. You're beautiful, you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I can't hide you from the world. It's not my job to hide you.
Mhm.
My job is just to protect you as much as possible. And that was that's just it was a yes for me for all of those reasons. So I think my insecurity would have maybe been like, nah, don't put that up there, da 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 da. But I trust that our love is stronger, and I trust that I affirm you and love you, and you know that, so that even if some whack dude come around with those words or whatever, you're not gonna fall for that,
Right.
because you're confident in our love.
Correct. And I think that post about with my bathing suit on was more it was bigger than you, or bigger than it was bigger than me, in a sense of I truly wanted to show I truly wanted to show what a black woman after birthing two beautiful children, what that looks like. Because I know that body image is so important, and even even on social media, right? You have these women who are in two-piece bikinis and two-piece bathing suits, and their body is body-audiant, right? The bodies are tight, like the stomachs are flat and they're chiseled, right? But I think it's important to see images of ordinary women who don't have it like that. And so I wanted to make it okay to show in a tactful way, to show beauty in a body that has gone through the ringer, a body that is still trying to adapt to having children, to hormones and all the different things, right? Health challenge. There's just so much, right, that comes with our bodies, more like more female, a woman's body, and just showing the beauty in my body, and coming to the place where I feel proud of this body that God has given to me, and I'm not shaming myself. I'm not making me feel I'm not feeling less than because my stomach is not flat, and because, whatever, like, I'm embracing this body that I'm in fully, without shame, without hindrance, because this is the body that I have, and I'm just accepting it.
Right. And at the end of the day, your body is representative of a large percentage, a
Very
large
true.
population of women in this world, in this country. And the women with the chiseled bodies and the flat stomachs, they represent a population
Very
as well.
true.
I think there are more women that are like, what's the word? I don't know, regular shape, but there are more women who have bodies that aren't chiseled than there are that have ones that are chiseled. Same thing for me. Like, you remember, like, I was super conscious about taking off my shirt, but we went on a cruise and I saw all the people that was taking off their shirt, and I was like, bump that.
Shirt off.
I'm taking my shirt off, right? But at the end of the day, I think that cruise showed me that, yo, there's a lot of people out there whose bodies are not with 0% fat, right? Not
Yeah.
perfect. And those are like the comparisons that kill us and that kill Black marriage, because we have to learn how to filter through that and remember that that's just a small group, or that's just a group, and you're in a different group, but that should not hinder you from doing what you need to do and being who you need to be. But at the end of the day, I think what we're getting back to, the point that I'm getting back to, is that don't compare your marriage to what's on the internet. Don't compare your relationship to what you see that's next to you. I think the focus should be on how are we doing?
Just right.
How are we accomplishing our goals? How are we being successful? in loving each other.
Yes.
I think that is the core at the end of the day. And those things on social media should inspire you.
That's right.
Right? If I see somebody 0% fat, maybe that'll inspire me to want to go to the gym.
Or
but not to be them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It'll inspire you to go to the gym, not to be who it is that you're seeing.
Right. That's right. It should be inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that so much because I think it's also important, as you touch on the topic of comparison, I think it's very important to see each other for who we are, see our marriage, see our Black love for what it is.
Yeah.
Our Black love is our Black love. It
Right.
can't be replicated. It can't be duplicated. Like, our Black love is our Black love.
Yeah.
And it's unique and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like everyone else's Black love out there, everyone's love out there is the same way. It's unique, it's special, it's different. And it should not be something that where we're trying to copy each other, how we choose to love each other.
Yeah.
But we should be inspired to, I like that word you used, be inspired to, oh wow, that couple went on a cruise. I'm inspired to travel with my husband. Now let's come together and see what it is that we can afford. Maybe we can't afford the cruise. Maybe we can afford an in-state vacation, right? Where we in the country vacation, where we're going to maybe Florida, or we're going to somewhere
or we get
that
some,
we can afford.
We get some skateboards and cruise like that. Just everybody skateboard.
No. Mm-mm.
You don't want a skateboard?
No. Well, that may be what some other couple want.
I think it'll be fun.
I don't want that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that let us use, and I think that's how we choose to filter out images that we see on social media. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes if you absorb it enough, it can put you in a spin cycle of comparison. It can put you in a spin cycle of, trying to level up and try to.
It could make you depressed.
Yeah, because you're just like, dang, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing with our lives? Like, why aren't we achieving what they're achieving, or why aren't we where they are? Right. But I think how we filter through it is just don't absorb it as much. You don't absorb as much of it, but also focusing more on what we have here in real time, opposed to focusing on what is on our screens.
Yeah, I just want to read this quote, and I thought this was powerful. Being seen on social media isn't about performance, it's about presence. And I like this one too. Don't post for the world. Post because your partner deserves to feel seen in every room, even digital ones.
Wow.
Yeah, so I love that, for the fact that, social media shouldn't be a performance. It should be about presence in our relationships. How do I show up for you? How do you show up for me? And how do what we do, was it good or was it bad? Did it help or did it hurt? And how can we be a blessing and an inspiration to other couples as well, right? I think also too, I love the fact that posting you on social media is me bragging about you. It's me lifting you up. It's me bragging about our beautiful family, our two beautiful daughters, so that they can be seen even in the digital ones, right? I know I'm usually not good at the long posts for like Caitlin's birthdays and Amber's birthdays on social media. You usually handle that. But it feels good to just open my phone and scroll and to see their beautiful faces and to see you with them. And so how they can be seen in the digital space as Black girls growing up in a world that does not like Black women, but to know that they know that their skin is beautiful, their hair is beautiful, their mom is beautiful, and that they are loved. That gives me joy, seeing them on a digital scene. Yeah.
That's beautiful. This episode honestly has been inspiring, impactful, and also thought-provoking as it relates to Black love and how it's sacred and how it is important for in that sacredness for your spouse to feel seen. So to anyone listening, whether you're building love, rebuilding trust, or just learning how to love better, know this: Black love is powerful, Black love is beautiful, and Black love is needed.
And keep showing up for each other. Keep choosing softness. Keep protecting your love, and let it be seen in the private and in the public.
Black love. I feel like our lights probably should have been lower. We probably should have had some jazz on and just kind of like vibing out in that way.
Yo, tell you what, maybe we can because I love some R&B. I was listening to some Tevin Campbell.
Yeah, she worked upstairs.
Home. I was listening to some Robin Thicke. I was listening to some Al Green. So maybe we could curate a Carlene plus Jamie playlist of some songs that we love that put us in the mood, that could put that vibe, that nice chill. And maybe you could recommend some songs. If you enjoy our podcast, if you enjoy listening to us talk about our love, our marriage, different issues and topics, then we encourage you. Drop us a like, a comment, a share. Put something in the comments about your favorite song that helps you get through, that reminds you of your why you're with that person and what gets you through all the mess that we are dealing with right now.
Mercy Jesus. And I think it's also, while you're sharing your favorite song, if you can also share with us what your idea or thoughts are regarding Black love. What is Black love to you? We would love to hear from you as well in the comments. And we're just super excited about Black love.
Yes, we are. So this is your boy, Jamie.
And this is your girl, Carlene. We love you guys. Thank you for your support. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.